Today, we analyze the rise of the Bosnian kingdom, from its humble beginnings as a small mountain state to the formidable realm it has become. With loyal and battle-hardened troops, Bosnia expanded its reach from the peaks of its homeland to the very gates of Jerusalem. Welcome to this episode, The Rise of the Bosnian Kingdom. To understand the roots of the rich and powerful Bosnian kingdom, we must first examine its unlikely rise to prominence as a regional power. Before Bosnia's ascent, the lands we now know as the Bosnian Mountains were nominally controlled by the mighty Austrian Empire, rich, vast, yet distant. Bosnia itself was divided, fractured among tribes, counts, and local kings. But among them emerged two figures destined to change history: the daring king of the Bosnians, Spitfire, and his loyal second-in-command. They shared a single vision: to cast off Austrian influence and unite the peoples of Bosnia beneath one crown. To understand this unification, we must first look at the Bosnian army of the time. Most of its soldiers were not professional warriors, but hunters, woodsmen, and marksmen, men skilled in the rugged terrain of their homeland. They fought as irregulars, using ambushes and guerrilla tactics to deadly effect. This would become their greatest strength against rival Bosnian states. Spitfire and ML raised an army of roughly 8,000 men, not trained soldiers, but brave sons of the mountains, conscripted to the cause of unity. In response, a coalition of rival tribes formed to crush them before their power could grow. The Bosnians knew what defeat meant: death and the end of their dream. So they chose their ground carefully: hilly, forested terrain where their irregular infantry could strike from the shadows. As night fell, the Bosnian forces, led by King Spitfire and his generals, lay in wait. When the enemy columns marched through the valleys below, the hills came alive with fire. Muskets roared in the dark, volleys tearing through the advancing lines. One by one, the enemy columns collapsed. When dawn broke, the battlefield was silent. Against all odds, the Bosnian army had triumphed, their victory marking the first step toward the birth of a kingdom. After this great victory, King Spitfire and his loyal generals turned their gaze to a greater purpose: the unification of the Bosnian peninsula under one banner. Their triumph had ignited a flame of ambition, and now, with the tribes united and morale soaring, they marched onward to bring every Bosnian land into their growing realm. The armies of Spitfire advanced swiftly, their irregular soldiers now tempered by battle, their confidence unshakable. One by one, the remaining petty states fell, their rulers either pledging allegiance or facing destruction. Bosnia, once a land of countless feuding lords, was now transforming into a single formidable power. But beyond its mountains, powerful empires watched with growing unease. To the east, the Ottomans, ancient masters of conquest, viewed Bosnia's rise as a threat to their influence in the Balkans. To the north, the Austrians, from whom Bosnia had torn its independence, now plotted its downfall. Yet Spitfire was undeterred. Rallying his newly united army, he declared that Bosnia would never again kneel before a foreign crown. The Bosnian legions advanced into the contested borderlands, clashing with Ottoman and Austrian forces alike. Against all odds, they prevailed, their hunters and marksmen proving deadlier than any imperial regiment. Each victory added to their legend. Villages once ruled by fear of foreign soldiers now flew the Bosnian banner. The dream of a free and united Bosnia was no longer a vision. It was becoming reality. And so, from the rugged peaks of their homeland to the rolling plains of the frontier, Spitfire's forces marched on, a new kingdom rising from the ashes of empire. Now, the men of the Bosnian kingdom, united under one banner, looked outward once more. Their eyes turned toward war and conquest, their ambition, the Italian peninsula and the lands of the Greeks to the south. From there, they dreamed of marching eastward to the Holy Land itself. But before such grand designs could be realized, one task remained: the unification of Italy under the Bosnian banner. Years of preparation followed. Bosnia's forges burned day and night. Its armies grew ever stronger. At last, they had assembled a formidable host of 12,000 soldiers. Among them, the feared elite of the Bosnian Guard, men whose name inspired terror across the European continent. With this army, they crossed the sea to war. Their arrival was met with alarm. The Italian city-states, long divided, now found a common enemy. United in fear and pride, they raised their banners to repel what they saw as a foreign invader threatening their homeland. The Bosnian generals sought to choose the ground for battle, as they had done so often before, but this time, fortune did not favor them. The confrontation would be fought on open plains, far from the hills and forests that had always sheltered their tactics. The Italians gathered a mighty force, nearly 20,000 strong, outnumbering the Bosnians almost 2 to 1. Yet the men of Spitfire's army were hardened veterans, warriors forged in countless campaigns. They marched calmly onto the field, their flanks guarded by the elite Bosnian Guard, prepared to fight to the last. When the battle began, the air filled with thunder. Muskets roared in deadly volleys as both sides advanced inch by inch toward brutal melee. The fighting was fierce, but then the tide began to turn. The Italian flanks faltered under the relentless pressure of the Bosnian Guard. Seeing this, King Spitfire seized the moment. He ordered a full charge, and the Bosnian line surged forward like a living storm. The Italian ranks collapsed, panic spread, and soon the battlefield belonged to Bosnia. Thousands of enemy soldiers lay broken beneath the weight of the Bosnian advance. It was another astonishing triumph, a victory that echoed across Europe. The once proud Italian peninsula now lay under Bosnian control, its cities and kingdoms brought to heel beneath the banner of King Spitfire.